Welcome everybody to Creators Creating the Nature of Consciousness, our Wednesday tune-up call. I'm Cory3wing, and I'm here with my partner and good friend, Aubrey Cardon. I am a healer, spiritual guide, coach, and I work in the realm of superconscious recode and insight and mindset management, all to help us remember who we really are. Aubrey, introduce yourself.
I'm Aubrey Cardon. I am a quantum architect and healer, and also a guide. I see the universe in geometry and just the way that we relate to each other and how we then define ourselves. And I help also remember. I remember who I really am, and I'm here to help everybody else also remember. That's.
One of the things that Aubrey and I met a little while ago, and we both realized that we're on a very similar spiritual / medicine / in-service path. And we started laughing and playing together and realized that our skills go really well alongside one another. And so some of the things that we're playing with now in our reality is joint sessions where we can work on somebody at the same time. So you kind of get a square double whammy session with us. So anyway, that's just a little bit about who we are and why we're here. As we begin to open our circle today, I want to open, like I always do, with the 4 agreements. And now these are our self-governance. These are our acknowledgements of how we are together. I will read them twice. So the first time that you can hear them and understand them, and the second time your heart can sink into them. And here are the 4 agreements. Personal material shared in our circle is for us. Personal material shared in our circle is for us. We listen to each other with curiosity and compassion, withholding judgment. We listen to each other with curiosity and compassion, withholding judgment. We ask for what we need and we offer what we can. We ask for what we need and we offer what we can. And the last one is, from time to time, we will pause to regather our thoughts and focus. And one more time. From time to time, we will pause to regather our thoughts and focus. And so with that, our circle is open. And today we're going to talk a little bit about letting go and attachment and our human experience wrestling with this. So we've all done this, and we're all going to do it some more. And so we want to share some wisdom around that. But as I open our circle today, there's 2 things I want to share with you to help us step out of where we were and into the space that we're holding now. And before I do that, I want to introduce one of my closest friends. Maria Elena has just joined us from just outside of Barcelona, Spain. Maria, take a quick second and say hi.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm sorry that I'm a bit late, but here I am.
Awesome. Great, Maria.
Okay.
So glad that you are with us. There's an old ancient African prayer that's very short that one of my mentors and heroes, Angeles Arian, used to say all the time in her work when she was still alive in her workshops. And it is this: let us take care of the children, for they have a long way to go. And let us take care of the elders, for they have come a long way. And let us take care of those in between, for they are doing the work. So a little bit of beauty, a little bit of art to step into space today. And so with that, I want to pass the feather over to Aubrey to introduce our theme today, letting go of attachments. Come on in here, Aubrey.
Thank you, Cory. I'm here. So today we are going to talk a little bit about letting go of attachments specifically. And that, if you're letting go of anything, it probably is an attachment. But I kind of wanted to talk first about what really attachments are. So attachments are completely our memory, essentially. So when we have a person or a thing or a belief about ourselves or a label that we put into our identity that we have taken on to our being, we remember that it made us feel safe or made us feel stabilized, or made us feel more like us. And so those things, those experiences are very important. However, if you don't let them go, you get stuck into that version of you, and it can cause a lot of strife and just discord in your day-to-day life. So we wanted to talk today a little bit about what letting go of attachments really is, and then after I talk about that, we're going to kind of do a group healing session where we kind of spend some time letting go of some attachments. So I'm going to start with, so if we are going from the idea that attachments are memory, then we kind of need to look at what memory is itself. So when we look from a human perspective, and we're looking to a past, present, and future, like linear perspective, it feels like the past is locked in and the future is going to happen no matter what, and you're kind of just like on a train. But that is not actually how that works. The only true thing that exists is now. Like when you look at your watch, what time is it? It's now. It's always now. The only true thing that exists is now. So when you're looking at a past memory, you're looking at a past or a different now moment that's giving you context. And you can also have future memories of now moments that are going to be happening to you. And as we travel through time and space in this human experience that we've all chosen into, we can shift what is influencing us based on what we are focusing on in the present moment. So if you had a traumatic experience that happened in the past, or if you have, anything in your memory, if you were labeled, if you had a diagnosis, if you like any sort of thing that you have kind of attached to and clumped onto as part of your identity, can be released, and it needs to be released in order to have forward movement. Are there any questions about that?
Yeah, let's pause right there for a minute. Let's pass the feather around a little bit. I love that we are adding the concept of memory to attachment, which kind of makes it intellectual as well as in our spiritual experience. Let's just any ahas, questions, thoughts, personal stories about, oh, I do have a memory that impacted me. And sometimes that's a good thing, a really amazing thing, like a new attraction, a new romance. That's a hard thing to let go of. Or it could be a trauma, something that really was painful, and we don't know how to put that down. That's also an attachment. Anybody have anything to offer, to share with the group about your own story? Where are you seeing yourself in what we're saying today? Anybody?
Don't all talk at once.
Okay. Please, I encourage us, at any time to raise your hand.
I guess I can offer something.
Come on in.
I think Cory knows this, but I've kind of gone through a lot of religious trauma and trying to heal from that. And actually, last night I wrote in my journal. I wrote about the Hoppe experience that I had with you, Cory. Mm-hmm. And I woke up this morning and I looked at my Facebook, and there were all these religious groups that I'm a part of that have helped me heal. And all of a sudden, I felt like I don't need those anymore. And I think I'm starting to really let go of that need to still connect to my religion, and dissolving that relationship, and not identifying myself by what that religion labeled me as. So I feel that attachment is greatly subsiding, and I felt that more this morning than I have in 2 years of deconstructing.
Wow, Chris, thanks for sharing, brother. That's a big one.
Thank you.
That's a big one. Yeah. Let's all take a breath with Chris, everybody. We can all feel the bigness of that in our world today. Anybody else have a personal insight or a letting go that you may have done already, or one you're currently working on? It doesn't have to be deep in detail, but enough to give some context to what we're doing here. I definitely have one, my old show business identity, and to really put that down, the career, the insurance, the security, to walk the medicine path as a healer. It's a big jump, to trust the unknown. Oof, big work. That's been my last 2 years of deep work, literally changing how I am on earth. Yeah, that's my story.
I also had a lot of identity things that I needed to let go in order to kind of get on my true path. I remember when I first sort of really was waking up, I felt that version of Aubrey, I felt like she was so special, but there was this, like, she felt special. And it was kind of from an egoic standpoint, and in order to kind of move forward on my spiritual path, I had to just completely let go of everything that I thought made me special in order to make room for my true self to kind of start shining through. And that's the thing about attachments, is they can be good things. They can be things that make you feel good, and they did serve you. They absolutely serve you. Otherwise they wouldn't be practicing that. But in order to, and in order to take our steps and sort of free ourselves from anything that's limiting us, we need to take the steps to allow for those things to come in, which means letting go of the things that were.
Right. Any other ahas or thoughts before we move on?
Well, I had, I can add to that, of where growing up, my father, I was adopted. So thank goodness. At almost 70, I still tell myself that one, but my father was the kind of person I was never good enough, or I never did anything well enough. He fixed everything. Going in school, like correcting my papers before I handed them in, or helping me with projects for school and whatever. He was a doctor, and he convinced me to not be a dancer, but become a nurse, because it was, more secure. And I did love nursing for over 40 years. So it was good. And it did support me very well. Thank you, Dad, for that. But it took quite a while for me to learn that I was good enough, and that I am smart, and that I can do things on my own. I remember getting out of nursing school and starting my first job and living in my own apartment. And I discovered that I was even nervous about doing new things. And it kept going for a few years while I was at that job and in Los Angeles, where I grew up. And one day I just went, I'm going to really challenge myself. I was working at UCLA Medical Center, and I put in an application to transfer to UC San Francisco, just because. It's like, let me dive into my fears of going to new places and being out on my own. Because also in Los Angeles at UCLA Medical Center, my uncle was assistant dean of medicine there. So a lot of the doctors would go, oh, are you related to, and all of that. So I had this connection. So I just severed everything that I could and moved to San Francisco, and it was extremely empowering. So.
Yeah. That letting go of family, security, known systems, and new city, all of that. Yeah. Thanks, Gina.
My favorite card in the tarot deck is the Fool, stepping off that cliff.
Yeah. Susie, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I've just been struggling, with unworthiness and needing to build up my self-confidence. And but I think, and what I've also discovered in that process was that I've been putting, I think I've been really holding on to my kids. Like I have 4 kids, and putting a lot of myself into my kids, so much so that I don't recognize myself. So I've been doing a lot of personal work, letting go of those cords. So not like getting rid of my kids, but letting go of those unhealthy pieces so I can really find myself and my self-confidence and just and walk in that. So that's been a journey, and that's ongoing, and that's where I'm at with that bit. Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's a really great example, Susie, because a lot of our attachments with other people, the thing is we're all connected on a very deep level. We have cords that are forged through love and stay through love, and we're all from the same consciousness originally. And we're just here experiencing with each other. But however, attachments come when you start using something external for something in order to learn something internal. And that's important to remember in this process as we let go of attachments, is it wasn't wrong to do that in the first place. If you are feeling unsafe, having someone hold a container for you so that you start feeling safe again is an essential part of the process. And so when we step into our next step of growth of learning how to to feel safe in our bodies, without an external container, that wouldn't have been able to happen had we not had that external container in the first place. So when we release attachments to people, to feelings, to anything, where we are going, we're stepping on the growth process and allowing the natural love and the natural cords to manifest themselves and strengthen themselves.
Yeah. And I want to jump in here a little bit. That's attachments usually show up at first as gifts. Oh my gosh, that's just the thing. Sometimes if it's, a romance or money or a real gift with a bow on it, it feels really good. But also gifts can show up as the opportunity to change. Like our spirit is saying, knock, knock, knock on the kitchen door to say, hey, wait a minute, there's a growth opportunity here. I heard you asking for a bigger dream yesterday, and I'm showing up today. But no, I'm attached to that old coat that protected me, that kept me warm. I got late. I had my first kiss in that favorite old coat. But I can't let go of that old coat because of the memories, which means the new gift has no place to arrive. So I think I might have mentioned this last week, the threshing, the removing of the hard shell of the kernel of wheat. We also have that hard shell, that the new gates of our growth and expansion can't come until we do our threshing, where we take out and remove what no longer serves us. And usually those are gifts, things that kept us safe, things that we loved. And to even swing out even further, they can become addictions. Oh, I love it so much. I'm going to really vest in that because I know I'll get some serotonin and some dopamine, just like I always have. It's like suffering. Now we're attached to our suffering because we know how to suffer, because I'm going to get some dopamine. I'm going to get a little serotonin. My kinesthetic body is going to support me a little bit. So we forget that when we choose joy and gratitude and chase our dreams, that we get massive doses of these brain chemicals. So now I'm attached to my own suffering. I'm attached to, Susie, thank you for claiming worthiness. Like the 7 self-sabotaging identities. I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. I don't deserve it. I'm not enough. I'm not perfect. I'm not safe. And if we believe that about ourselves first, that means that we have to fix ourselves before we can do anything. But really from that spiritual or high connected place, there's nothing to fix. We can skip that step. Because how could you possibly not be worthy when we remember who we really are? How could you possibly not belong? Those kinds of things. So that attachment, or maybe it's even an addiction. Now, addiction opens up the conversation of trauma, because when we're traumatized, then our addictions show up as a band-aid, as the essential remedy or the elixir we need today, but not sustainable forever. So with that being said, attachments to behaviors, beliefs about ourselves, identities about ourselves, as we grow and expand, like I really love, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it, I don't belong, I have to be perfect. Those kinds of things, as we change our mind, we let those things go, and it makes room for who we really are to step into the room, to step into who we are. And then we remember to walk in those shoes, to walk in those clothes, to see the world through those eyes. So let's pass the feather around. Letting go of identities, beliefs about yourself, things that do not serve you and you know it, but you do it anyway. Does anybody have some of that on the table?
Can I say one more thing before we start passing the feather, Cory?
That.
The final thing that I kind of really wanted to talk about with attachments is attachments to narratives. So when a narrative, from my definition of narrative, is any time that you're telling yourself something more than 3 times in the same words, that means it's a narrative, it's a story. And so you can, that can be things like belief systems, like money doesn't grow on trees. That's a narrative that you're telling yourself. Or you might be telling a story of what happened with your ex in the same words to yourself over and over and over again. And so it's a really good indicator, and like even just like a harbinger, if you're unsure where to start on like it's time to release attachments, finding what you've been saying to yourself over and over and over again is a it's the best first step. Because that if you have to continue saying it to yourself, then it's not true. I promise. You wouldn't have to reiterate it if it were true. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say before we started passing the feather.
Awesome. Any sparks in the room? Any ideas? Where are you seeing yourself in our story today? One of the things that we're going to do next is we're going to do a process that I always call the 3 pillars, where we're going to practice. I'm just going to tell it to you as we begin to do it, because this will start harvesting and planting some seeds to harvest. Because I want you guys to think of something that you're creating right now, and it's not here yet. Something that you love, something that you would desire, something that you would love to have, something that's not here yet. Something you're creating, something you're wishing for. The dream yet not yet manifest. A part of you that's not here. And it's also a part of you that there's still something in the way. You got a little work to do first. Otherwise, it would be here already. So there's a change or a shift or a growth or a threshing. Right? What are you working on right now? What are you creating in your world right now? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody have the courage to share here so we can witness each other and be witnessed in our dreaming? This is where we can superpower our manifestation skills with each other. Anybody have a dream that's not yet manifest, that they're willing to share?
I guess I'll say something. This is something I have been working on, well, probably all my life, and it's probably a lifelong pursuit anyways, but it's just stepping out of my perceptions of what other people see in me and their judgments. Being a people pleaser, it's hard because I want to feel the approval from others.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the dream of me is to be exactly who I want to be and not give a damn about what other people see me as, how they feel about me, what they think about me. And that is specific to family, I think. When I say family, siblings, parents, um, I want a version of me that I don't care how they see me, because I just want to be happy with who I am.
Mhm.
And that's kind of, I think, a dream that I'm working on, and it's tougher than it sounds.
So you think, Chris, that there's a need to belong with in that wounding? I'll call that a wounding.
Um, Maybe not a need to belong, a feeling of being a disappointment, maybe, is what I feel more.
Whose disappointment? Yours?
Theirs.
Their
Me.
disappointment.
Yeah.
So maybe is it a need to be perfect?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. So now let's turn it from what you're running away from, which is the switchcraft moment. This is one of my words I use. This is a switchcraft moment to know more strongly what you want than what you don't want. So stepping into the dream of perfection in your imperfections, the dream of acceptance, the dream of the freedom to be who you really are. That version of Chris, being able to stand in your confidence and to give the gift that only you are here to give. Am I coming close?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I want you to just imagine standing with your feet hips width apart, strong on Mother Earth, with your sternum out and your confidence, and with your family seeing you shine so brightly, this new version of you. And just sit with that for a minute and let it sink in. Because you're taller now in this identity. You can see further and you've got more freedom. So just kind of marinate in that and harvest that. And everybody, let's take a moment and let's imagine Chris there too. For sure, brother. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to throw a dream into the circle today? Something you're working on. Something's not quite here yet. I'll throw one of mine in. A couple of months ago, I was doing some ceremony work, plant medicine work, and the shaman who was facilitating and leading the circle initiated me as a song and medicine carrier. And at the time, I didn't even know that was a thing, let alone it happened. And so now I'm like, wow, I had a wounding from my father my entire life. The music was not for me. So I never sang a note. I never played an instrument. And now I'm letting music enter my life. And it's all of a sudden a place of fun and enjoyment and magic. And I'm realizing that it's moving in me in bigger ways every single day. And so I'm kind of letting go of this old wounding of music that's my dad's stuff. That's not for me. That I want nothing to do with it. To, oh, it's a major part of me. And so I'm on the bridge between those two places in my dream to come true. Learning songs, learning scales, practicing a new instrument, welcoming that world, playing the mouth harp, which, my chosen instrument.
So good at it. He's really good at it.
So there's part of my dream, and thank you for seeing me in this way, holding me in this way as I grow and expand and allow divine music connection to move through me. Because in that shamanic way, I want to be able to just open my channel and let songs I've never learned sing through me. And right now, I can hardly even imagine that that's a possibility, although I see it happen in front of me to others all the time. So there's one of mine.
Cory, that makes me so happy. I feel wonderful hearing that. That's amazing.
Thank you, brother. Anybody else want to share a dream before we do a little work on that? Okay. Do you all at least have one in mind? Awesome. Awesome. So now, yeah, Aubrey.
So for this next part, I wanted to just right before Cory starts going into it, a lot of my gifts and kind of what I bring to the table here is kind of looking at the geometry and the harmony and resonance of what's going on in your system. And so as we sort of move into as Cory kind of takes us through this process together, I would like permission to get into all of your geometry in order to kind of resonate it with what you're doing. Do I have everybody's permission? You can give me a thumbs up. Okay.
Thank you, Aubrey. I was just about to introduce that. But you all right. So I want to get out. There's a tool that I love to use called the silver white rope. And this rope lives in our belly because it is ours. It's our very sacred rope. And so this dream not yet manifest, I want you to have it there in front of you with all of its bells and whistles and delights and colors and connections and relations and socials, everything about it right there in front of you. And I want you to pull that silver white rope out of your belly, and I want you to circle your dream with this white rope and give it a circle of protection so that the dream can dream well, so that the dream can grow. And it gives you a place to revisit that dream. So that dream, every time you revisit this silver white rope in front of you, you can harvest more details. You can come back with more pictures and more feelings and more frequencies of just how good that dream can be. So we're turning that future dream into a future memory, a memory of your future. And every time you revisit this memory of the future again, you come back with a new narrative of just how good your dream can be. Every time you visit, you gain more insight and you see more details. And the more details and insight you have, the more excited you get because it's that good. So good. So there it is, protected, a destination to visit and revisit. And I encourage you to do this often and to write about it, collect the details, write them down, become known with your details of your dream come true. And then it's the emotion of the end result. Here's the law of attraction, all of these things that we've been taught by so many, is that when we know the details, the emotions come flooding in like, oh, it is that good. Whoa, the dream, wow, my dream is so good. So that then you set the anchor into that dream that will actually pull you toward it. And now what I want to do is just set up a little bit of creative tension. So now with that dream in front of you, I want you to also, the circle of where you're standing in the present moment with that dream in front of you. What is it like right here, right now? In this current moment, what created the hunger or the desire for that dream ahead of you? The solution or the remedy or just maybe the next good thing? What is the contrast of what it is now compared to what it will be when the dream comes true? Creative structure, 2 points, your current situation and your desired dream come true. 2 different realities, 2 different perspectives. And where you're at right now in this moment, and as you look at the dream ahead of you, is anything in the way? Sometimes it's a, yeah, my dream's great, but, we got a case of the yeah, buts. Okay, great. With this tension between where we are now and the dream to come, when we pull that a little bit tighter, the yeah, buts become clear. So let's welcome some of these yeah, buts into our story here. What's first? Maybe what's in the way? maybe what needs to be taken out, or maybe what needs to be acquired first. Sometimes it's, I want to spend a year in another country, so I want to learn a language first. Awesome, great. Or maybe I want to run, so I'm going to need to learn to walk. Some of these kinds of things. And how attached are you to those things that are in the way of your dream to come true? Sometimes it's a relationship that's no longer serving you. Or maybe it's a relationship that you're in, like in a family contract, that needs a new understanding, that needs a new perspective, so that everyone can be who they are in the right time and in the right place. So the details of today, this beautiful moment right here, right now, that created the need, the hunger, the desire, the current reality of right now, that went from comfortable to just uncomfortable enough to dream again. Because when we're comfortable, we're comfortable. But now there's something else. I'm curious. I'm hungry. Now let's super conscious all that is. We're connected in this beautiful way. My super conscious. I also ask permission for all of our super consciousnesses to support one another in this way. Whatever's in the way, resistance, the boulder in your river of desire, the next opportunity or learning or challenge. Let's see it from a high place. Let's see it from all sides. Let's see it from the future looking back and reverse engineer. Let's invite that future version of ourselves who's already in the dream to come to us now and let us know an easier way to do it than they did, because they've done it and they know what you're afraid of and what you're struggling with and all of your secrets. So here we are in creative tension, and tension seeks resolution. I love this. So now let's trust the tension of creation, the tension of manifestation, the tension of energy to make change and shift happen. So super conscious, I ask for a major change in our history about what has kept us from growing quickly, and to remove the anchors of the slowness and the resistance and the stuckness, and to change it now, in this moment, right here. Super conscious, I also ask for an understanding that every step was necessary. Every delay was perfectly timed. Every moment, every struggle, every delight, and every attraction perfectly placed. And I ask that we remove the resistance and turn it into flow, energy, and inspired motivation. Let's rearrange the banks of the river if the boulder is important. And if the boulder is not important, let's take apart the boulder and build bigger banks to hold more flow. And so it is. Super conscious, I ask to install a massive change history throughout all time and space, through all timelines, through all identities, ideas, beliefs, personalities, subpersonalities, ancestors, friends, social support, and anything else that pops in the way. And so it is. Forever changed. And here we are. Let's take a breath, everybody. Now, when you check your groundedness, check gravity. Check the power of Mother Earth, gravity, the hug that she's always giving us. And feel your connection to nature. For we are nature, and it is natural to dream. It is natural to enjoy and use tension. It is natural to release and let go. And when you're ready, come back into the room with us. Take a deep breath, everyone. Sure. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. So as people are coming back in the room, Aubrey, would you share with us a little bit about what you see in the work you were doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, my main tool that I use in order to shift geometry in the universe is something called light language. So light language can be spoken, it can be movement, it can be anything that creates a vibration, and it's spoken from the heart. And so what I first did is I went through each one of you individually and kind of just opened up your geometry a little bit so that your heart was more visible to you. And then kind of figured out what was going to make it hard for you to hear your heart. And so I just sort of like brought the geometry out bigger, and so that you can still hear your heart resonating through all the geometry. I noticed a lot of feminine side stuff on every. So once I did that, I then zoomed out and then kind of looked at the resonance field of the group. And I just noticed in general, the group kind of had a lot of resistance on their feminine side. And so that is a lot of feeling free to create and free to be and free to flow. There was a lot of resistance in there and feeling unsupported. That was a big message I heard from the resonance field of the group, was feeling unsupported. So I would like to remind everyone that the universe is the most supportive thing that exists, which means if we decide that we feel unsupported, it will support that until the end of the universe. And so, of course, that's very easy to just say. If you are feeling unsupported, then it's finding what attachments and what pieces of you are purveying that that belief system is very important. And that's something Cory and I can help with. But the last thing that I saw in the group is there's something in everybody's root, not just in the collective of this group, the resonance field of the root. There's just a feeling of like the root hasn't had enough water is kind of what it feels like. And so I think that one of the main messages I got from this group is spending some time with the ground, stomping your feet, actually drinking water would be good for everybody. And just spending some time connecting into nature and just exactly like Cory said, like feeling that hug that comes from Mother Earth at all times. We are incredibly loved. Humans are incredibly loved. We're so lucky to be here, and being open to feeling that if you're not feeling it is a really good first step.
Right. Thank you, Aubrey. And so, the tool I was using is one I call superconscious recode, which is where we align your intellect with your subconscious mind and build bridges between the two. And so I just want you to harvest a little bit of awareness that there is a new connection installed with your subconscious and its number one mission to keep you safe, and your intellect's ability to dream gigantically and to open a communication between the two. Another way is heart and mind coherence. So works in the same way. So we've got a few minutes left. And so what I'd like to do as we begin to close our circle together today is I want to pass the feather around. And let's each just spend a minute or two, if you're so willing, to share a little bit about what touched you today. If there was a shift or a magic or a spark today for you. But if not, that's okay too. But in the realm of witnessing each other and taking a turn being witnessed, as we are doing right now, if we say anything or not, we're holding a crucible of change together. We're honoring sacred space together. And so I want to say thank you for bringing the best versions of yourself here. Thanks for coming home. So with that, let's pass the feather around. Is everybody feeling called? Yeah, Susie, hi.
Hi, I just wanted to mention, while you were speaking, Cory and Aubrey, while you were doing that energy work, I really felt my my heart space just expand. And um and I was thinking about, my dreams and doing this energy work and doing it, with all of my family, that really sparked it, and just and everything just coming together just really made my heart space just expand. And I just wanted to share how that really felt really amazing. And I'm very grateful to you for doing this for us. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Susie, you're so great. You're so great.
Yeah, so start to harvest what's possible now that was not possible before an hour ago. Start to think about that. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share?
I guess today I brought just a little dream, and it is about attachment. I'm going home to see some family soon, and will reconnect with my mother-in-law, who has caused a lot of pain in my past, and I'm worried about seeing her. And so I was sort of thinking about that in the dream of when we do reconnect, what that may look like. And while we were doing the energy work, I could hear her laugh, and that felt really good as I was reverse engineering, if you will, our visit. And hearing her laugh and this image of us sitting together around a table felt like I'm going to have a good visit with her now, which I didn't think I would say that an hour ago at all. So
Yay.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Again, what's possible now that wasn't possible before? This is practicing dreaming, intuition, imagination, enhancing the dream, decorating the dream, returning to the future memory of your dream. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to pop in?
I have lots to say, but I've already said enough this session. So I just want to say thank you. I felt the connection to nature, the call. That was part of my lesson in polarity this weekend. I had an experience with other medicines that are more man-made, and it was a nightmare. And I felt very trapped within the man-made confines, which was in contrast to the previous week with nature. So I really resonated with that message, Aubrey, about nature. And then the idea about talking to your future self and realizing that the future self, the dreams are but a memory to him. It's like, yes, get it. That was awesome. Thank you.
Right on, Chris. It's delightful to see you claiming high vibration emotions and energy. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Gina.
Well, during the meditation, it was, I really felt my heart embracing all of you tremendously. And I also had the excuse to revisit my dream. It's not really a dream, it's coming to fruition. I work on it daily, of creating the healing center, if you will, that my property is becoming. I know that it's what the vision is that I've been given, is that it's it will be part of an exchange program, if you will, with off-planet, inner planet, on-planet melding. And it's huge, but I can feel it coming in. So it's just waiting. I'm waiting for timing and taking little steps every day, whether it's weed control or critter raising. Moving areas around the property for better energetics. Yeah, it's I take steps every day towards that dream and keep my focus there. And it's coming in.
Right.
And meeting Aubrey and Susie and doing the work that we're doing now has really helped it all grow, because I'm growing in my spirituality and my wholeness, in my vision. So yeah.
I just want to say about Gina really fast that so when I was looking at the resonance field of this group, Gina's her soul is extremely crystalline, and so when I started like resonating it, because she was in the group, everyone started resonating in crystalline frequencies, and it was like you guys became crystals for a second, and it was really beautiful. So I just wanted to thank Gina for your for that help to the group today.
Right.
My pleasure.
Here we are attracting one another. Look at that, trusting the laws of attraction, the law of resonance, to be with a like-minded tribe, doing like-minded work. So I just want to thank everybody for showing up today and bringing your best self here today. And Aubrey and I, we're busy kind of backstage of creators creating, and we've got some really cool stuff that we're building and making for the future. Some programs and workshops and things like that you'll start to hear some and see some of those things coming from us. But in the meantime, I just put in the chat, like if you're called and want to do a joint session with us, there's a link and a calendar link to do that. But we're also going to be here every single Wednesday. We'd love to hear from you, and know what you're dreaming about, and know how to support you in your dreams, and share in this way. So I want to just say thanks for sharing your lunch hour on Wednesday with us, wherever you are in the world. And it's my honor and privilege to be here with you. More time with you, please. Aubrey, do you want to say something?
Let me feel in to see if there's any final messages here. I think thank you is the biggest message. There's a really beautiful thing about this work on the spiritual path. The more and more you are moving from your heart, the more and more you realize that there was never any accidents. We always plan to be here together, doing this work together. And I'm just so grateful that everyone showed up today, for yourselves and for the collective. So thank you.
Right. So don't forget to ask for what you need and offer what you can. Absolutely. Any last questions, thoughts, ahas before we say goodbye for today? All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being here. Hopefully I'll see you in New Mexico, Brian. I'll be there probably in about maybe 2 weeks. I'll be back in New Mexico. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that would be great.
For sure. And I have friends in Taos, so there's plenty of reason to come. So,
Okay. Yeah. We might have some of the same friends. So that might be.
I certainly hope so. Right on. And Chris, more time with you, brother, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Look forward
Bye,
to it.
everyone.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Gina. See you
Thank
next
you, everyone.
Thank you.